Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to preside over All India Chief Secretaries Conclave at Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says ASEAN's role today is more important than ever before given geopolitical challenges and uncertainties that world faces. Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat says dam rehabilitation improvement project of government has improved safety and operational performance of large dams. Power Minister R.K. Singh says India is leading an energy transition and is becoming the fastest growing renewable energy capacity in the world. All India Radio, the largest radio network in the world, is again voted as the most trusted electronic media organization in the country by Reuters. Assam government to give preference to youth who complete 4-year Agnipath career in recruitment to police department. Incessant rains throw normal life out of gear in most parts of Assam. 3-day International Literary Festival Unmesh begins in Himachal Pradesh today. Over 12,000 new COVID-19 cases recorded in the last 24 hours across the country. Government issues draft guidelines for operationalization of Ro-Ro and Ro-Pax ferry services along Indian coast. Indian naval ships the Hyadri and Kamorta are on a 3-day visit to Indonesia as part of deployment to Southeast Asia. Indian para-powerlifters Manpreet Kaur and Paramjeet Kumar win bronze medals in World Para-Powerlifting 2022 Asia-Oceania Open Championships in South Korea. And in badminton, India's H.S. Pranoy to take on Angus Kalong of Hong Kong today for a place in quarterfinals. India's top players P.V. Sindhu, Lakshya Sen and Kidambi Shrikant exit in first round. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh today to preside over the All India Chief Secretaries Conclave being organized by Niti Aayog. On his arrival, Chief Minister Jairam Thakur and Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar accorded him a warm welcome. Before joining the conclave, the Prime Minister took part in a roadshow along with thousands of party workers. All India Chief Secretaries Conference will deliberate on the implementation of urban governance, crop diversification, new education policy and self-reliance in agricultural commodities. The focus will be on rapid and sustainable economic growth in partnership with the centre and the states. In addition to the Chief Secretaries of the states and union territories, about 200 thematic experts from different fields are participating in the conference. Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba inaugurated the conference organized by Niti Aayog last evening at the indoor facility at Dharamshala HPCA Stadium. The 3-day National Conference of Chief Secretaries of all states will conclude tomorrow. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has said ASEAN's role today is perhaps more important than ever before given the geopolitical challenges and uncertainties that the world faces. Speaking at the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Delhi, Dr. Jaishankar said the association has successfully carved out a niche for itself.
ASEAN has always stood tall as a beacon of regionalism, multilateralism and globalization. It has successfully carved out a niche for itself in the region and provided the foundation for the evolving strategic and economic architecture in the Indo-Pacific. ASEAN's role today is perhaps more important than ever before, given the geopolitical challenges and uncertainties that the world faces. India fully supports a strong, unified and prosperous ASEAN, one whose centrality in the Indo-Pacific is fully recognized. The strong convergence of the AOIP and the IPOI is a testimony to our shared vision for the region.
He said it is heartening that the first ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting is happening in person even as COVID has not fully abated.
The COVID pandemic has not fully abated and there is much ground yet to be covered as we walk towards post-pandemic recovery. This path has become even more arduous with geopolitical headwinds which we face due to developments in Ukraine and its knock-on effects on food and energy security as well as fertilizer and commodity prices and logistics and supply chain disruptions.
The minister underlined that a better connected India and ASEAN would be well positioned to promote decentralized globalization and resilient and reliable supply chains that are needed by the international community. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today interacted with foreign ministers and representatives of ASEAN countries in New Delhi. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said he had a good interaction with them as ASEAN and India are celebrating 30 years of close India-ASEAN cooperation.
Minister for Power, New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh has said that India is leading in energy transition and it is the fastest growing renewable energy capacity in the world. Addressing the India Energy Transition Summit in New Delhi today, Mr. Singh said India has emerged as the most important destination in renewables. The minister said India is among one of the few countries globally which has kept to its Paris climate change COP21 commitments, along with an exponential increase in renewable energy capacity. Mr. Singh said India can achieve 700 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030 if we manage to achieve the vision of green hydrogen, green ammonia and electric vehicles. Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat today said the government flagship programs Dam Rehabilitation Improvement Project or DRIP has improved the safety and operational performance of large dams. Addressing a national workshop on Dam Safety Act 2021 for dam safety governance in India in New Delhi, Mr. Shekhawat stressed on the need for maintenance of dams for prevention of dam failure-related disasters in the country.
जो पिछले 8 साल के कालखंड में अगर मैं बात करूं तो हमने ड्रिप 1 के माध्यम से डैम रिहेबिलिटेशन एंड इम्प्रूवमेंट प्रोग्राम चला करके और देश के बहुत सारे बांधों में इस तरह का परिवर्तन करना, उनको सुरक्षित करने की दिशा में काम किया था। डीआरआईपी का सेकंड फेज और थर्ड फेज भी शुरू हो चुका है माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के आशीर्वाद से 10,000 करोड़ रुपए की परियोजना, और जो एक तरह से कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म का सबसे बेहतर उदाहरण है। इसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए बहुत सारे राज्यों ने उसमें सहभागिता जो है अपनी तरफ से दी है।
The day-long workshop on Dam Safety Act is aimed at sensitizing all stakeholders about the provisions of the Act and to brainstorm on dam safety governance. The Dam Safety Act 2021 was enacted by the Parliament and came into force from the 30th of December last year. The Act is aimed to provide an institutional mechanism to ensure safe functioning of dams.
The Assam government has said in recruitment to the Assam police, the state will give preference to those youth who complete their 4-year Agnipath career. Welcoming the Agnipath scheme, Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma said the Assam government has decided to accord priority to Agniveers in recruitments in the Assam police. He said that Agniveers will acquire enough military skill and arms training during their 4-year stint. Mr. Sarma hoped that many youth from the state will join the Indian Army as Agniveers. In Assam, there is no respite from flood fury in the state, including Guwahati. Incessant rains affected normal life in most of the areas. Educational institutes are closed in Kamrup Metropolitan District for the second day today. Many places in Guwahati are facing waterlogging. Apart from rains, landslides have also made the situation critical in Guwahati. Overall, 74,000 people are affected due to floods in 18 districts in the state.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that apart from asanas, yoga consists of several breathing exercises which have many health benefits. Mr. Modi has shared a video which includes details about yoga exercises. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari has emphasized on maintaining equilibrium between ecology, environment and development. Inaugurating Industrial Decarbonization Summit 2022 in New Delhi today, Mr. Gadkari said in the coming days we have to strengthen the country's economy and at the same time save the environment. He said the government's priority is green hydrogen and by using biotechnology we can increase the productivity of biomass. He said by using biomass we can make bioethanol, bio-LNG and bio-CNG.
In Himachal Pradesh, the 3-day International Literary Festival Unmesh is being organized at the historic Gaiety Theatre in Shimla today. Minister of State for Culture Arjun Ram Meghwal inaugurated the festival. The festival is being organized by the Union Ministry of Culture and the Sahitya Academy with the support of the State Department of Art and Culture as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The festival, with the title Unmesh, a celebration of expression, will be the biggest international literary festival in the country so far. Over 425 writers, poets, translators, critics and distinguished personalities from 15 countries representing over 60 languages would attend the event. More than 1,000 books related to the freedom movement would also be displayed during the three-day International Literary Festival Unmesh. During the festival, Booker Prize-winning author Gitanjali Sri will express her views on women's writing in Indian languages. The government has issued draft guidelines for operationalization of Ro-Ro and Ro-Pax ferry services along the coast of India for stakeholder consultation. The guidelines encompass the two aspects of ferry operation, namely concessions for terminal operation and license for operation of Ro-Pax vessels. These guidelines will homogenize and streamline the development and operations of ferry services along with promoting ease of doing business by eliminating unnecessary delays. The suggestions can be sent to sagar.mala@gov.in within 21 days from the date of publication.
As part of the deployment to Southeast Asia, Indian naval ships INS Sahyadri and Kamorta are on a 3-day visit to Jakarta. INS Sahyadri is an indigenously built multi-role stealth frigate and INS Kamorta is an indigenously built ASW corvette. Frigates and corvettes are escort ships and frigates are larger than corvettes and have defense capabilities. During the visit, the Indian Navy personnel will participate in professional interactions with the Indonesian Navy towards further enhancing interoperability and mutual cooperation. In addition, several social and informal exchanges aimed at strengthening ties and mutual understanding between the navies are also planned. The Bharatiya Janata Party BJP reached out to its coalition partners and key opposition leaders to seek their support for the NDA's presidential candidate. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Party President JP Nadda dialed the leaders of dozen parties to build a consensus ahead of the July 18 election. The BJP has authorized its President JP Nadda and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to hold consultations with different political parties. Our correspondent quoting sources reports Mr. Singh spoke to Trinamool Congress Chief and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, Bahujan Samaj Party Supremo Mayawati, Biju Janata Dal Chief and Orissa Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, Samajwadi Party Leader Akhilesh Yadav, Congress Leader Mallikarjun Kharge, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Chief Shibu Soren, and Nationalist Congress Party Chief Sharad Pawar. Mr. Singh also spoke to Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, whose Janata Dal United is an ally of the BJP. BJP Chief Mr. Nadda spoke to Meghalaya Chief Minister and National People's Party Chief Conrad Sagma, National Conference Leader Farooq Abdullah and leaders of the All Jharkhand Student Union. Also, several opposition parties including the Congress, the TMC and the Samajwadi Party met in Delhi to deliberate on the choice of a nominee. At the meeting, a resolution was passed to name a consensus candidate for the presidential election. A formal notification for the poll was issued yesterday and nominations have to be filed by the 29th of June. The last date for withdrawal of candidature is 2nd July. President Cohen's term ends on 24th of July.
Over 195 crore 67 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 15,21,000 doses were administered yesterday. The recovery rate is currently at 98.65%. 7,624 people recovered in the last 24 hours. Total recoveries have reached 4,26,74,712. Over 12,000 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. Over 75% of youngsters between the 12 to 14 age group have received the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. In a tweet, Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has urged all youngsters to come forward and join the fight against COVID-19 by getting vaccinated at the earliest.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to preside over All India Chief Secretaries Conclave at Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says ASEAN's role today is more important than ever before given the geopolitical challenges and uncertainties that world faces. Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat says dam rehabilitation improvement project of government has improved safety and operational performance of large dams. Power Minister R.K. Singh says India is leading in energy transition and is becoming the fastest growing renewable energy capacity in the world. All India Radio, the largest radio network in the world, is again voted as the most trusted electronic media organization in the country by Reuters. Assam government to give preference to youth who complete 4-year Agnipath career in recruitment to police department. Incessant rains throw normal life out of gear in most parts of Assam. 3-day International Literary Festival, Unmesh, begins in Himachal Pradesh today. Over 12,000 new COVID-19 cases recorded in the last 24 hours across the country. Government issues draft guidelines for operationalization of Ro-Ro and Ro-Pax ferry services along Indian coast. Indian naval ships Sahyadri and Kamortha are on a 3-day visit to Indonesia as part of deployment to Southeast Asia. Indian para powerlifters Manpreet Kaur and Paramjeet Kumar win bronze medals in World Para Powerlifting 2022 Asia-Oceania Open Championships in South Korea. And in badminton, India's Aegis Pranoy to take on Angus Nyaka-Long of Hong Kong today for a place in quarterfinals. India's top players PV Sindhu, Lakshya Sen and Kidambi Srikanth exit in first round. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. All India Radio, the largest radio network in the world, has again been voted as the most trusted electronic media organization in the country. According to a survey by Reuters Institute in 46 countries, All India Radio and Doordarshan enjoy the highest trust. The Digital News Report 2022 of the Reuters Institute said print brands and public broadcasters All India Radio and DD News continue to enjoy high trust among the survey respondents, while 24-hour television news channels are less well trusted, along with newer digital-born brands. The survey of the Indian news brands by the Reuters Institute shows the authenticity and accuracy of news by All India Radio and DD News stand at 72% and 71%. According to the report, apart from the high level of trust which continues to grow, even the reach of both All India Radio and DD News has increased. The Reuters Institute said its Digital News Report 2022 measured the digital news consumption based on a YouGov survey of over 93,000 online news consumers in 46 markets, covering half of the world's population. Principal Director General of News Services Division of All India Radio, N. Venudhar Reddy, thanked all listeners for reposing faith in AIR News.
It is indeed a proud moment for all of us at All India Radio. It is a tribute to the present and previous officers and employees of All India Radio who strived hard to give credible news and information to the listeners. All India Radio does not sensationalize any news item and gives only factual information. During pandemic, AIR particularly worked hard to give authentic information to the people with the help of specialist doctors in various fields. On behalf of All India Radio, I humbly thank all our listeners for reposing trust in us. It makes us more responsible and reinforces our resolve to give credible news and information in the days to come and retain this trust.
Muhammad Idris Tak, a radio listener from Shopian in South Kashmir, shares his reaction.
ऑल इंडिया रेडियो ने एक कलीदी रोल किया है यहाँ की सहाफत के बारे में अगर हम बात करेंगे। एक जमाने की याद हमें आती है जब ऑल इंडिया रेडियो और दूरदर्शन के बगैर कोई यहाँ पे अल्टरनेटिव नहीं था, और आज भी लोगों को काफी भरोसा है ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पे। जिस तरह से ऑल इंडिया रेडियो न सिर्फ न्यूज सेक्शन बल्कि जो दीगर सेक्शंस है वो भी काफी अच्छा काम करते हैं। आज भी ऑल इंडिया रेडियो लोगों की तर्जुमानी करता है। जब भी ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पे कोई न्यूज आती है तो लोगों को उसी वक्त उस न्यूज पे भरोसा होता है।
P. Venkateshwar Rao from Hyderabad stated that for the listener, AIR News is like a textbook to a student.
I am Dr. Pathur C. Venkateshwara Rao, resident of Chandanagar area, Hyderabad. The news bulletins of All India Radio are unbiased. They broadcast only the confirmed news. Unlike other channels, they don't add salt and pepper to the news. No hype is created. The listener can fully depend upon the bulletins. The national, international coverage, along with the trade and sport, is also ample. The way of expression is straight and simple. It is like a textbook for students. Since only accurate, unbiased news is given, it is a trustworthy friend indeed.
All India Radio Chennai is entering its 85th year today. The public broadcaster began airing programs on this day in 1938. It was one of the 6 radio stations that were operational at the time of Indian independence, the others being Delhi, Lucknow, Tiruchirappalli and the erstwhile Bombay and Calcutta. All India Radio is known for programs that stick to the ethical broadcasting norms, with Bahujan Hitai, Bahujan Sukhai as its guiding principle. More from our Chennai correspondent.
Chennai is one of the few Indian cities where the experiment with radio broadcast thrived during the formative years of the popular medium. After several revolutionary changes under different names and ownerships, it got its name and structure as All India Radio Madras on this day in 1938. It continues to air programs on varied subjects including news, current affairs, education and entertainment. AR stations, including Chennai, broadcast seamlessly the programs and news at all the times, be it rains or sunshine, storms or lockdowns, normal days or tough times, in serving its crores of listeners in every nook and corners. Another feather in its cap is that the FM radio broadcast in India originated in Chennai on 23rd July 1977. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In Uttarakhand, IMD has predicted 40 to 50 km per hour winds with heavy rain at isolated places over the districts today and tomorrow. Today it is cloudy in most parts of the state. Due to yesterday's rain, the temperature has decreased in the state. In view of the warning of the Meteorological Department, the district administration has alerted the SDRF and the police. Along with this, the pilgrims going on Char Dham Yatra have been appealed to stay at safe places in case of bad weather. And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Namiye nao gyaner bojha, soite nari bojhar bhar, amar সকল অঙ্গ হাঁপিয়ে উঠে নয়নে তেরি অন্ধকার.
The 16th of June is the death anniversary of freedom fighter Chitranjan Das. C.R. Das was born on the 5th of November 1870 in Kolkata. Das completed his graduation from Presidency College in 1890. The same year, he went to England to qualify for the ICS, which was dominated by the British.
Unfortunately, he failed. As a result, he opted to join the legal profession. While in England, Das campaigned for Dadabhai Naoroji to help win a seat in the House of Commons.
2 years later, Das came back to India and started practicing as a barrister at the Calcutta High Court. As a lawyer, C.R. Das defended Indians who were accused of political offences. He appeared in defence of freedom fighters Brahma Bandhab Upadhyay and Bhupendranath Datta, who were charged with sedition.
In 1908, Das attained widespread fame when he was successfully able to defend Aurobindo Ghosh in the Alipur bomb case. He also had a close association with Bipin Chandra Pal and supported both him and Ghosh in publishing the English weekly Bande Mataram.
In the Calcutta session, he put forward a plan for village reconstruction, which was to entail steps such as establishment of local self-government and cooperative credit society.
In 1920, Das sacrificed all his luxuries and supported the cause of Khadi and participated in the non-cooperation movement. Das was jailed alongside his wife and son for 6 months for participating in the movement in 1921.
Alongside Motilal Nehru, Das established the Swaraj Party within the Congress.
The aim of the newly founded party was to contest in the Central Legislative Assembly in 1923 and derail British rule through anti-government activities within the council chambers. However, the party was able to secure only 40 seats, and the number was too small to make any legislative impact. Following the death of Das on the 16th of June 1925, it was eventually disbanded.
Just a month ago, Mahatma Gandhi had met C.R. Das in Darjeeling. Gandhiji had said, "When I left Darjeeling, I left much more than I had ever thought before. There was no end of my affection for Deshbandhu and my warm feeling for such a great soul." AIR salutes the great nationalist.
We also remember freedom fighter Bal Mukund Bissa. He was born on the 5th of April 1910 in Jodhpur. He was inspired by the constructive program of Mahatma Gandhi and founded Rajasthan Charkha Sangh in 1934 at Jodhpur.
Coming in close contact with Jainarayan Vyas, Bissa became an active member of the Parishad. When Jainarayan Vyas and other prominent leaders of the Marwar Lok Parishad were arrested in 1940, Bissa took over the command and led the movement successfully. He was arrested on the 9th of June 1942 and put behind bars in Jodhpur Central Jail.
There, along with others, he resorted to hunger strike, demanding better treatment for the political prisoners. Bal Mukund Bissa was subjected to brutal beatings by the jail authorities while on fast and died 4 days later on the 16th of June 1942. We salute the brave son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
On to sports. Indian para powerlifters Manpreet Kaur and Paramjeet Kumar have won bronze medals on the opening day of World Para Powerlifting 2022 Asia Oceania Open Championships at Pyeongtaek in South Korea. Manpreet Kaur won the bronze medal in the 41 kg category. In men's category, Paramjeet Kumar also won the bronze medal in 49 kg category. In the Indonesia Open Badminton 2022, India's HS Pranoy will take on Angus Nyangka-Long of Hong Kong for a place in quarterfinals in the afternoon. India's top players PV Sindhu, Lakshya Sen and Kidambi Srikanth have all exited in the first round.
And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to preside over All India Chief Secretaries Conclave at Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says ASEAN's role today is more important than ever before, given geopolitical challenges and uncertainties the world faces. Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat says dam rehabilitation improvement project of government has improved safety and operational performance of large dams. Power Minister R.K. Singh says India is leading in energy transition and is becoming the fastest growing renewable energy capacity in the world. All India Radio, the largest radio network in the world, is again voted as most trusted electronic media organization in the country by Reuters. Assam government to give preference to youth who complete 4-year Agnipath career in recruitment to police department. Incessant rains throw normal life out of gear in most parts of Assam. 3-day International Literary Festival Unmesh begins in Himachal Pradesh today. Over 12,000 new COVID-19 cases recorded in the last 24 hours across the country. Government issues draft guidelines for operationalization of Ro-Ro and Ro-Pax ferry services along Indian coast. Indian naval ships Sahyadri and Kamorta are on a 3-day visit to Indonesia as part of deployment to Southeast Asia. Indian para powerlifters Manpreet Kaur and Paramjit Kumar win bronze medals in World Para Powerlifting 2022 Asia Oceania Open Championships in South Korea. And with that we end the midday news.